Hi everyone, and welcome again to another video of HSC Standard Math Hacks for 2021 exam. As you know, in these videos, we take you through some of the tips and quick wins that you can do for this exam. In today's video, I'll be taking you through a couple of questions from the topic of probability, and this latest one came from 2019 exam in it as question number 20. And there's a similar one in 2018 exam, question number 9. But the general idea is what I'm going to walk you through, and that's something that you can apply across as well. Uh, and if you go on Study Ninja website, you will see this infographic. In this topic, what I've done is I've broken it down into questions that are just purely asked by giving you a description in words, and then you have to figure out how to calculate the probability, and then what is the expected value, and something what I call multi-source. Um, and then you've got tables, information given in tables, and information either you have to draw the tree or a tree is given and you have to interpret these. So questions are broken down like that. In future videos, I will be going through other questions as well. But let's take a look at these questions. And before I start, show you, I'll just show you this is the part in my website, topic 3 dot probability, and anything you would need for this specific subtopic is under 3.1 from description. Here I explain how do you first calculate a probability, the different properties of the probability, and so on. So make sure you go through these because this is some quick and easy information that you need to know for a start. Now let's look at the question, 2018 question number 9. What you're given here is an experiment has three distinct outcomes, A, B, and C. Outcome A occurs 50% of the time, outcome B occurs 23% of the times. And what you're told is that an experiment is conducted 500 times. And they're asking what is the expected number of times outcome C would occur, right? Firstly, the question is in descriptive form, right? That's why it's categorized as under the descriptions. Now, every time you have to calculate an expected number of times an outcome can occur, it's the basic formula you need to know is the total number of times the experiment is done, which is 500 in this, and you multiply with the probability of the event. So in this case, the event that we are interested is outcome C occurring. So you just multiply the two, you'll get the answer. But most often what you'll find is that this part is where you need to do a little bit of work. Sometimes a lot of work, sometimes not too much of work. In this case, you are given the outcomes A and B's probability. So you're not told what is the probability of C. So the work that you need to do here is to calculate this probability. And for that, you need to know one of the basic properties of probability. So if you go back again to my notes here, one of the basic property of a probability is that the sum of all probabilities equal to 1. So if I go back here, if there are 3 outcomes, then uh, sum of all of them should equal to 1. So one should be equal to, sorry, one should be equal to probability of A, probability of B, and probability of C. Okay, so then I just substitute these values. 50% is for probability A, 23% for probability B, and probability C is what we need to find. So this is 73, and if I just minus this from 1, so probability of C would be equal to 27%. Now it's just a matter of multiplying 500 with 27% and you will get your answer. So that's one way of asking this. In 2019, question number 20, uh, The same concept, question with the same structure came again, just in a different format. Here you are told that there is a relay wheel which has 37 numbers, and all of these numbers are equally likely to be spun. 0 to 36 makes 37 numbers. You're told that it is spun 18,500 times, and they're asking you what is the expected frequency. Expected frequency means expected number of times uh, 8 would come out of these 18,500 times. So exactly same what's happening there. Again, using the same formula that I showed you before, 18,500 multiplied by probability of number 8 coming. Again, as I showed, the work is here that needs to be done. What is the probability of 8 occurring? If there are total 37 numbers, and I take you back to the basic uh, property, probability of something happening is the number of ways that something can happen divided by the total number of outcomes. So here, uh, 8 is one of the total of 37 outcomes. So probability of 8 is 1 divided by 37. So what your final answer would be 18,500 times 1 over 37. So pretty similar, these two questions. Then when I was thinking, okay, how else can they make it harder for you? And this popped up to me. This is a question 2014 question 20. This is not asking what I just showed you, but I thought this would be a great example for how complicated the structure of our questions can be. So let me explain what this question is doing. This question is telling you that there are two bags of apples. There's bag A and bag B. Bag A has 4 red and three green apples. Bag B has 3 red and 1 green apple, right? Then what happens is that Jazz chooses an apple from one of the bags, and then specifically this question is asking you something else, that uh, which tree diagram represents this information correctly, right? There is a description given and you asked to make a tree diagram. Now what I'm thinking is, if you ignore this part for a while and this part as well, focus on this part. You may be given all of this, right? And you could have been asked question like this. You can be asked that, okay, Jazz repeats the process, picks an apple 100 times, right? And then it can ask you, what is the expected number of times to pick red apple? See, in this case, you're given all the information in a descriptive form, exactly like the structure we saw previously. There's a total number of times something has happened. So our answer would be something like 100 times multiplied by the probability of picking a red apple. But now the work is a lot harder here. Why? Because you need to first draw this tree, which this question is basically asking you in 2014 question 20. But moving it to this structure, from this information, you would first have to draw a tree. You need to work out what is this probability of taking out a red. So you'd actually then draw a tree that, okay, there is firstly, she can choose, he or she can choose bag A and bag B. First step is they would choose one of the bags, right? And this would be half probability, because you know you can choose either of the bags, and within bag A there is red and green apples. Both bags have red and green apples, red and green, and there are a total of 7 apples, out of which 4 are red. So 4 over 7 is the probability of red. 3 over 7 is probability of green. Similarly, 3 over 4, because there are 4 apples, is probability of red, and 1 over 4 is probability of green. Now from this tree, then you need to calculate what is the probability of red and then multiply it by 100. So what I've shown you is the basic concept these questions need to be solved. It's all, the work is all here. So make sure you understand the structure of these questions and be prepared that these can be complicated as well. If you like this video and if you have more suggestions on what topics I should make video, please do comment below. As I read those comments, then I would may incorporate them in future videos. And if you haven't seen this yet, make sure you check out our mock exams. First mock exam is free, and I've got 20 more mock exams. This is where I have put all these different ways the questions can be asked. I've put them into these mock exams for your better exam preparation. And finally, please join our Facebook group for HSC Standard Math for 2021.